Hello everybody and welcome. I did the wrong, but here we go. Here's the right one.
Fingerprint sensor? He's just sweating.
The music didn't stop. We talked about this earlier today. The lockers can only be opened by the detectives they belong to.
What kind of crazy talk is this?
Well, Detective Gumshoe did mention something about this. In any case, the locks aren't that obvious. There are even some people on the force who don't know about the fingerprint locks. So, Sheriff, what do you have to say in 8 words or less? Oh, look, he's eating leather.
What the hell,
now.
jerky? I only got one word for you, partner.
Draw! No!
No!
What the fuck?
For the order! 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 Witness! Explain yourself. If this is a joke, it's the worst I've ever heard.
Yeah, that's not jerky. He's just chewing on leather. I assure you, this is no joke, Officer Marshall. Now then, please tell us what you were doing in the evidence room at the time of the crime.
Ole, please answer the question.
What is he now, a bullfighter? That's alright, Officer Marshall. I believe we can figure the rest out from here.
We can?
Have a look at these floor plans. There's no place for someone to hide in the evidence room. Yet Officer Meekins didn't see Officer Marshall.
If that's so, then where was the witness? It seems Mr. Wright has an answer.
That's right. The only possible conclusion.
Well then, let's hear it. Where was Officer Marshall at the time of the crime? The victim?
I cannot save. Cause yeah, Meekins walked in, cause he was right here first, right? Cause, okay, what does K stand for then?
Killer?
So then Meekins is the victim?
Yes, because he was assaulted.
Officer Marshall was standing right here.
So Officer Meekins didn't notice him standing there. It's almost as credible as Meekins' warp theory. Huh.
Now they're ganging up on me. Officer Meekins should have seen them in the evidence room. That means he could only be one place. Da 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 da. V. Officer Marshall was standing right here.
There, but that's where the victim Detective Goodman was. All right.
Correct, unless the man wasn't Detective Goodman. I believe the victim in the video is Officer Marshall. It was you, dressed up like Detective Goodman.
That was my bad.
All good.
But that's preposterous. Officer Meekins witnessed detective at the crime. Once he saw the man's face, he'd know for sure.
He never said he saw the face. May I point out, though, that Officer Meekins did not know Detective Goodman. He also testified about the man's reaction when confronted. Oh, God. When I entered the evidence room, I asked him to show his card, sir! I regret doing this voice. Yes? And how did Detective Goodman respond? He said to pull a knife on me! Something about the officer's story puzzled me. If the man had his ID card, why didn't he just show it?
Oh yes, he would have needed it to enter the evidence room, so he must have been carrying it.
The answer is simple. He couldn't show it. As you can see, Detective Goodman's picture is on his ID card.
Oh, I get it.
If he showed that, his cover would have been blown. Officer Meekins would have realized the man wasn't Detective Goodman. Do you have anything to say to this, Officer Marshall?
You got quite an imagination, partner. We got a term for that. It's called circumstantial evidence.
Circumstantial evidence? He's still denying it.
You're gonna have to do better than that to break a detective. Unless you have hard evidence proving I dressed up as the victim. I can't say I particularly care for your uncooperative disposition. Can't say I care about your beard. You don't see me complaining.
That's the second time you've used that.
Well, Mr. Wright, do you have any evidence proving beyond a shadow of a doubt?
I'm gonna save this time.
That the Officer Marshal dressed up as the victim.
Well, who am I kidding? I don't have anything like that.
I can see the fear in your eyes, partner. Seems you're the one who couldn't take the desert heat.
We are in Japan. You fucking reverse weeb. Ah, this can't be happening. It's so obvious he's the one. What can I do?
It looks like your lack of experience has finally been exposed.
Huh?
I'll pass on to you what someone told me when I was just starting out. When you've run into a wall with no places to go, return to the basics.
The basics?
You read a law book, right?
No. For me, that would be what Mia used to tell me. Phoenix, try thinking outside of the box. I shouldn't look for proof that Officer Marshall was in disguise, but rather I should look for evidence that came about because he was in disguise.
Why do you think this locker was open in the first place? And what do you mean?
Because it's got the disguise. If we open it up, we'll find that disguise in there.
There's no reason for Officer Marshall to open his locker at the time of the crime. Yet he did, despite the chance it might be discovered later, as it had been.
Which means he didn't originally plan to open his locker. It's got blood on it.
According to the defense's arguments. Officer Jake Marshall dressed up as Detective Goodman at the time of the crime, then after the crime was committed. He opened his own locker for some unknown reason.
To hide his costume.
The fact that a white cloth is sticking out of the locker seems to indicate that he opened it in order to put the cloth inside. So, just what exactly is this piece of cloth?
Perhaps the video is the key to all our unanswered questions. I don't have any evidence, so this video's my only shot.
Like, fuck. Very well, let's take yet another look at the security tape. When you mute the sound, after committing the crime, the witness opened the locker to put away the white cloth. Please show us why the witness had to open the locker. Jerry continues to spiral into madness. Live. For me.
Would that count? He sliced his hand, and then he grabbed him, so there would be blood on it. If not, I can reload. Music stopped! Well, what do you have to say to that?
Alright, partner. You really want to know the reason I had to open my locker?
Why?
So I could stuff you in there.
Huh?
I'm sure the world would be a better place with you sent off to the boneyard.
Again, openly threatening a fucking public attorney.
Unfortunately, unsolved cases can't be stored in the evidence room.
Now I'm an unsolved case?
You're wrong.
Something went wrong in that evidence room, that's why Marshall would open it. When did we last save?
I think it was just before the video started.
Should I reload then?
Yeah. Yeah. All we have left is... Oh yeah. Then, oh yeah, all this.
Let's see. Just holding skip. Blah 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 blah. Okay. Save here. Alright. Fast forward. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. But it has to be the blood, because he slices Meekin's hand.
Not immediately here.
Sliced. Yeah, see? When he holds his hand?
Okay, no.
What?
No, not yet. Keep going. Blood.
Ah! There we go. So I was on the right track.
You did it at the wrong time.
Yeah. For some reason, you disguised yourself as Detective Goodman and entered the evidence room, though I don't know to what end, yet.
Yet?
However, something unexpected happened. Officer Meekins barged in on you. When asked to show your ID card, you pulled a knife on him. However, Officer Meekins panicked, and the white coat you were wearing was soiled with blood.
A bloody white coat.
Just like what Lana was wearing. You couldn't just walk out like that, so you hid the coat in your locker.
Not bad, partner. Quote unquote. Now then, Officer Marshall, are you ready to tell us the truth? Looks like I underestimated y'all. I hope you're happy now, Mr. Edgeworth. Not particularly. 2 years ago. If you were only as half as persistent then as you are today, we all wouldn't have to be here now, would we?
Officer Marshall, tell the court what you did. All of it.
Alright. Think the time has come. Pulls a gun.
I'd believe it. I would fucking believe it that they would just let him walk in here with a gun.
I had to do it that day. I just couldn't just stand by and let it die. I stole the detective's ID and dressed like him. I planned to take out the evidence. Wasn't expecting Officer Meekins. I knocked him out. And managed to escape. I knew Chayas wouldn't be caught on camera. There wasn't any murder in the evidence room at 5:15.
Interesting.
So the supposed victim was really you. There's one thing I still don't understand. Traces of large quantity of blood were found on the floor of the evidence room. If no one was murdered, then how could that be?
What is... You don't suppose this was full of blood, was it?
Maybe.
For some fucking reason?
Officer Meekins managed to cut his own hand. My guess is he's the donor.
It was way too much blood for such a small donation. Alright. Bam, bam, blam. Alright. When you say it, you mean...
Do you even have to ask, partner?
The SL9 incident.
2 years have passed since that case was closed. It was going to completely end with that transferal that day. Now, if I had anything to do with it, that incident's not over.
Oh god, I got hiccups. What did you hope to accomplish by sneaking into the evidence room?
When the case is closed, only that case's lead detective can look through the evidence. I wanted to have a look at it myself one more time. No matter what the cost. I don't care what anyone says, partner. That case is mine.
But Officer Marshall wasn't in charge of that investigation. Why does he care so much about it? Because his brother died.
Brother, maybe a father.
Maybe.
That day was my last chance. That's why I stole the detective's ID.
Ugh. Why did you disguise yourself as Detective Goodman?
If I didn't make it look like Goodman was carrying out the evidence transferal, I'd be arrested for stealing evidence, which wouldn't get me anywhere. So you did it to fool the security camera. And the detective's ID card. I stole that the morning of the incident.
So that really was why Goodman started filling out that last item report.
I returned his ID card. I left it on the floor in the prosecutor's office parking lot.
The ID card I found was left there by Officer Marshall.
So essentially, you managed to succeed despite your lack of foresight. What do you mean, partner? I mean, the fingerprint-activated lock, of course. No matter how well you disguise yourself, you can't change your fingerprints. Under normal circumstances, you wouldn't have been able to open that locker yourself.
But he could because a rubber glove just happened to get stuck in the door. That means Detective Goodman must have opened the locker before Officer Marshall. How'd he get in there?
No, I wasn't expecting Officer Meekins. I knocked him out.
You pulled a knife on Officer Meekins and tried to drive him off?
Let's just say I was a little surprised. I only planned on being in the evidence room no more than 5 minutes. I can't read today. God damn. I didn't think anyone would actually come in during that short time. Officer Meekins certainly is a 1 in a million type of person.
Thank you, sir!
Bailiff. Mistaking a detective for an intruder and demanding to be shown his ID. I'll have to think a little more about his raise this year.
When did Edgeworth get so much influence?
Anyway, he threw himself at me and I ended up cutting him slightly. I'm sorry I had to turn out that way. With me knocking him out and everything.
By the way, what happened to your knife?
Oh, you mean this one?
I don't know what to say.
So you knocked Officer Meekins out and managed to escape.
So you did your research beforehand?
Those who go into the desert unprepared don't live for long, partner. I didn't think it would make much of a difference, though. The gear tape was erased every 6 hours. If all had gone as planned, no footage would have been left. However, you bloodied your coat in your struggle with Officer Meekins. If someone was in the security room when I came out, the jig would have been up. I opened my locker and stashed it in there.
What was Officer Meekins doing during that time?
What else? He was sleeping like a baby. So what you're saying is, on that day, there wasn't any murder in the evidence room at 5:15.
Ugh. But the blood found at the scene certainly indicates a crime took place.
What are you, blind?
So he was probably okay. I think I'm piecing together what happened. Goodman was stabbed in the evidence room and made his way out. Where's that list?
There.
Which means he probably didn't go in himself. He went in with number 777 at 4:20, got stabbed, and then about an hour later bled out to death.
But Miles Edgeworth went in at 4:40, 20 minutes after. He would have seen like that big pile of blood.
Unless it was all wiped up.
But then why was there so much blood at the scene of the crime afterwards?
Yeah, you got a point.
The victim shown on that tape is me, and I'm not dead yet, partner. So he stole the evidence from the locker. Actually, no, I didn't. Why not?
Because it was already stolen.
When I opened the locker, the evidence was already gone. What? Mr. Edgeworth, where is that evidence?
Uh-oh.
It's still missing, Your Honor. No, that's the files, it's not the evidence.
Oh.
The pot is the evidence.
Right. Detective Goodman's locker was already empty. Someone else stole the evidence. Officer Marshall, may I ask you one thing?
Fire away, partner. It's a free country. Just remember, I'm also free to decide whether or not to answer.
Ugh. Why did you do this? Stealing a detective's ID, injuring a police officer? Shush. This is no small offense.
Moreover, you're an officer yourself.
Alright, well, we'll get into his tragic backstory and the death of his brother, uncle, father, whatever, later.
Sister,
Thank you for watching, and we'll see you later.
Adios.